Hi everyone, welcome back to Reconciliation Month with West Central Women's Resource Center. Today is the last day of our month and we couldn't be happier to have with us Tiarnee Schafer from Australia, who's going to talk about an app called iBobbly. Hi Tiarnee.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Yes, good, thanks. It's morning over here and it's been raining the past 2 days, so it looks like it's nice and sunny today, which is good.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's nice and sunny here too. A little hot, but I guess it's winter for you folks down there right now.
Yes, yep.
Great. Well, I'll just ask you to introduce yourself a little and tell us a bit about Black Dog Institute, where you work.
Yeah. So firstly, before we begin, I'd firstly like to acknowledge the traditional owners on the land on which I meet today, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging, and also acknowledge traditional owners of the lands on which you're based on today and to people that will be listening to as well. So a little bit about me. My name's Tiarnee Schafer. I'm a proud Kalkadoon woman from Mount Isa, Queensland. So for those that don't know, Queensland in Australia is the sunny state. And I currently reside in Sydney. So I moved to the city to pursue a higher, education in university, where I completed my Bachelor of Business and Psychology. And now I'm completing my Master's in Suicidology. So a little bit about Black Dog Institute. It's the only medical research institute in Australia that investigates mental health across the lifespan of individuals, and we're a non-for-profit organisation dedicated to improving all Australians live a mentally healthier life through our efforts and research. Yeah.
That's great. So tell us a little bit about what iBobbly is and how it works.
Yeah, awesome. So thinking about the differences in how many Indigenous people understand their mental health and what impacts it, it's important that we have culturally appropriate tools and help and support options available. And that's where iBobbly comes in. So online tools and apps can play a really helpful role in overcoming a whole different bunch of access issues such as costs, feelings of shame, and lack of services. So as you can see on the screen, here's some of the imagery that's taken directly from the iBobbly app. So in summary, iBobbly is a social and emotional wellbeing self-help app for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people aged 15 and plus who are feeling sad and down, or even for those individuals who just want to learn some different ways of coping and how to manage and get on top of their thoughts and feeling. Most importantly, iBobbly is free, it's anonymous, and assuming people have some data or Wi-Fi, they can download it, and once they've downloaded it, they don't need actually any internet or data to access the app, so it's pretty good in that way. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And if you just go to the next slide, yeah, perfect. I'll just talk a little bit about what the app actually delivers. So this image on the screen is the home screen of the app, and I'll just talk about some of the main features. So there's 4 different main features within the app. Show me how it, I guess, how do I feel, stuff I can use, how I'm going to beat this, and the help icon in the top right-hand corner. So the how do I feel section, which is I guess like a self check-in, it walks the user through a quick check-in and allows the user to keep a mood diary so they can track and see how their moods may have changed over time. The stuff I can use part has 3 different sections to it. The first is a storyteller, which teaches the user how to identify those troubling thoughts and then connect those thoughts to feelings and behaviours to help the individual see their mind as a storyteller and be aware of how they actually think about different situations or feelings and behaviours. The second part of that is feeling strong with the tough stuff, which shares strategies for emotion regulation like mindfulness and connecting to country. So it's quite different. And Joe Tai, who is used iBobbly as his PhD project, he really wanted to make sure that the activities that are seen and you're able to do with an iBobbly can really relate to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. The third part of that section is what matters to me, and helps the user identify the characteristics that they want to stand for, and encourages them to set realistic and positive goals that they can achieve in life as well. The third main part is how I'm going to beat this, and this section shares practical coping strategies and different audio recordings of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people that share their own personal stories. And we hope that, you know, when users hear these stories, that they can relate to and be like, oh, wow, that's, you know, that's actually happening to someone else. I'm not alone in that sense. And you can also create your own personalised action plan within this part for getting on top of those troubling thoughts and feelings. And you can go back in and check and monitor your progress to see how it's changed over time. And as I mentioned, the top right-hand corner of the screen is the help icon. So we have the numbers relevant that individuals can reach out to or call if they want further help. And later this year, it's been a tedious task, but I'm actually in the process of pulling together all the local Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander medical services, because when you actually sign up to iBobbly, you're required to input your postcode. So then once they click on that, they can actually see their closest Aboriginal medical service and the number for it that they can give a call as well. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so that's, I guess, in a short summary of the main features within iBobbly. I could go on for days to talk about it, but I don't want to take up all your time.
No, this is fantastic. It seems like a really robust app.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the impetus for the app? Sort of why was this seen as necessary?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, I guess I feel like suicide in Canada is, you know, very similar to it is in Australia. So suicide is a leading cause of death for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children aged 5 to 7 years. And in 2018, the suicide rate for young Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people aged 15 to 19 years was around 4 times the rate of non-Indigenous people in Australia. And as you would know, Indigenous suicide is associated with many underlying issues such as, you know, intergenerational trauma, Indigenous populations stemming from colonisation and the disadvantaged conditions and significant challenges still faced by many Indigenous communities, families and individuals. And these factors impact on the help-seeking behaviours of Indigenous people. So as I mentioned, Joe Tai, the team at BDI and Alive and Kicking Goals came up with the iBobbly app, an app that would help those communities that are maybe located in rural and remote regions or didn't have a medical service close by. Other reasonings was around individuals not wanting to go into services, so they may not trust in going into those services, they may not be culturally appropriate, or they've previously had negative experiences due to, you know, shame, stigma or racism in attending those services. So the team really hoped that an app like iBobbly could help overcome those confidentiality fears while providing evidence-based therapeutic content on demand without suitable mental health services. So in reality, it's, I guess, an alternative option, and we really hoped that people that use iBobbly, you know, maybe in the first instance, it would encourage them to seek out further for support and talk to someone that they trust about what's going on, or, you know, maybe give another service a try and reach out for help in that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a very similar situation than we have here in Canada, which I'm sorry to hear, but I'm glad that you're working on things over there.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see if anyone over there, you know, also comes up with, you know, an app idea like iBobbly. It'd be amazing to have, you know, we have iBobbly in Australia and you guys create something over there. So yeah.
I'm actually curious, this wasn't in our preparation, but where the name comes from. Do you know?
Yeah. So iBobbly is I guess more of a term used in the Kimberley in Western Australia. So I think, in reality, it sort of means like, how you going, brother and sister. So they use that term, iBobbly. Yeah, so I think it's a really catchy name, and you know, some people are like, where did iBobbly come from? So it's a really good conversation starter as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was immediately intrigued when I was looking at
Yeah,
examples of Indigenous innovators in Australia by this project.
yeah, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the process of developing the app?
Yeah. So, yeah, just on the screen, you can see iBobbly has been in the works for about 10 years. So we started the process in 2010, and then I guess it was available in 2019. So it's been in the making for 10 years. And it really started with consultation with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in the Kimberleys in Western Australia. And the first pilot commenced in 2013. Once that finished and it showed positive results, we moved to a national trial across Australia, including 6 different locations. And we wanted to make sure that there was a mix of rural, remote, and urban regions to ensure that iBobbly could work amongst different audiences. So as I mentioned, the trial completed in 2019, and it's now available for anyone to download in the App Store in Australia. I guess consultation engagement with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities and people have been really paramount in the development of the iBobbly app. Whilst the trial in the Kimberleys was the first one, it was limited to the Kimberleys only. The latest version of the app has been developed with input from several different regions across Australia. So we have representation from the Northern Territory in Darwin, the Darling Downs, Toowoomba region in Queensland, the Northern Rivers and the Hunter region in New South Wales, the Broome and surrounding regions in Western Australia, and the Laparoos community in Sydney, New South Wales. So many different employees and organisations and individuals assisted with the recruitment of the participants. So the first trial included 61 Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in the Kimberleys, and then the national trial with the 6 different locations included over 400 people. So yeah, we really had a good mix of different representation across Australia. I guess in ensuring that the development of the app was successful, I think consultation was really critical in developing iBobbly, and it really helped that we had in partnership with Alive and Kicking Goals, they played a really, really key role in ensuring that everything that is seen and heard and experienced in the app is actually shaped by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, which ensured it was culturally informed and safe. So yeah, it's quite a long journey, but I think it's been crucial with building that rapport and relationship with different communities across Australia to ensure that iBobbly is successful. So now that it's available in the App Store to download, we've recently had our first iBobbly advisory group meeting with different representation across Australia as well, including the Torres Straits as well, which is really exciting. So I guess the group will really play a key role ensuring that iBobbly, is culturally informed and safe, and we're getting it out to communities and conducting presentations and community gatherings to share iBobbly and answer any questions that, individuals may have with iBobbly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess that group also plays a key role in, coming up with different ideas. So the community might say, I don't really understand this activity. Have you thought about this idea? So really getting feedback from the community as well, and looking at how we can improve iBobbly for the future as well.
Absolutely. Well, with something that deals with mental health, it's good to have a lot of rigor in the consultation and the process and things. So it's an impressive trajectory. Yeah,
definitely. And I think because every community is unique, so it's paramount that we have voices from across Australia and different communities share their thoughts and feedback as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what have the results been so far?
Yeah, so as you can see on the screen, as I mentioned, there was 2 trials. So the first trial showed that people who used iBobbly in the trial had a greater reduction in depression and psychological distress. And in the second trial, those who used iBobbly reported significantly stronger levels of help seeking for suicide ideation and personal and emotional problems, and more so a sense of belongingness than the way it was. So I think they're really 2 great findings from the iBobbly study, because, you know, it actually showed that those who use iBobbly are actually reaching out for further help. And so it's a good you know, starting point to learning some activities and, you know, thinking about what's actually going on in your mind and your thoughts and feelings and how you're going to act on them. So I think it was a really good first step in, you know, getting young Aboriginal and Torres Strait people to reach out for further help. You know, and it obviously showed that the activities and the videos within the app really helped young people create a sense of belongingness and, you know, connection to their community as well. So that was really cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to hearing how, now that it's launched, how it takes off in Australia.
Yeah. So we've had some really, really positive feedback. We've just started our, I guess, Instagram page. So we're looking at, you know, providing more content and getting iBobbly out there and running social media campaigns, you know, get iBobbly out there into the community as well.
Well, we'll be sure to share those. And unfortunately, as you said, we can't download it here in Canada. It's just in Australia. But we'll also share a great link to a little video you have, so you can sort of see the artwork in action and get a bit of a sense of how the app looks like.
Yeah, and I'll definitely have to check in with the IT team to see, you know, if there is a way that we can, you know, pass on a link, maybe so you can check it out as well. So I'll put that down on my to-do list.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
That's okay.
So what advice would you have for people that are working on suicide prevention among Indigenous youth in other countries like ours?
Yeah. Firstly, I think it's such a, you know, well-needed area to work in, and really praise the people that are, you know, giving up their, you know, work life to help people in this area. I think it's also important that, you know, when people are working to prevent suicide amongst Indigenous youth, that they really get into the community and understand the community that they're working with. So if you're, you know, thinking about developing an app like iBobbly, making sure they're guided by a genuine partnership with the Indigenous community. So really providing that opportunity to help the Indigenous community members lead the project, and making sure that it's grassroots and for the people, by the people. So consultation is really critical, and really, getting out to the community and asking what they want, and not assuming what they need. So I think it's a really important area to work in, but I think it's really crucial as well to get it right. And the best way that can be done is getting out into the community and working in partnership, and side by side with Indigenous community members, not for them, by the side as well. So yeah.
Absolutely. That's a great thing for all programming regarding Indigenous peoples, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's definitely, I guess, a key aspect of ensuring that it's successful, because, like I said earlier, I feel like every community is unique to their own. And for example, in Australia, in Queensland and New South Wales, everyone goes mad for the NRL, but maybe in, you know, the Western Australia, everyone goes mad for the AFL sport. So it's really, I guess, you need to making sure that it's unique to its own community that you're working with.
Can you explain what NRL and AFL are?
Oh, yes, sorry. Yeah. So NRL is National Rugby League.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like football. I think, do you call soccer football over there?
Football here is the one where you throw the ball with your hand, and soccer is where you're kicking the ball.
Oh, okay. That's I guess the same. I guess, and AFL is more so. I feel like AFL is more so a kicking game than NRL. NRL is like tackling.
Yeah, like rugby. We have rugby here. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just NRL and AFL.
That's
Just a
great.
different term. Yeah.
It's funny, speaking of acronyms, you said BDI earlier, and Winnipeggers watching this will know BDI here is an ice cream shop.
Oh, really?
That's very famous and gets long lineups, so people are probably salivating for ice cream thinking about that
Yeah,
name.
exactly. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
There you go. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, my last question is just to kind of, what advice would you give to youth right now who are struggling with suicide ideation?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I thought I'd love to share, the little social media post that we shared. So I feel like this is a really good quote. So you're smart, you're loved, you're unique, you're brave, you're important, and you've got this. So I think it's really important that, everyone understands that there's hope at the end of the tunnel and you're not alone in what you're going through. It's important that you talk to people that you trust, or it might be someone at your school, about what's going on, and really don't be ashamed to reach out. There's always someone that's there and really wants to help you. I think all Indigenous people across the world are such strong and resilient people, and times may be tough now, but you'll definitely get through this. Have faith and belief in yourself, and yeah, you've got this.
That's amazing. Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we sign off about this project?
No, I think I've covered most things, but yeah, I encourage everyone to check out the videos from the app, and I'd love to hear feedback about what everyone thinks of the videos. And I'm sorry that we can't share the app with you, but yeah, hopefully you'll get an understanding of what the content is within the app from the videos. And yeah, hopefully I can come over and visit one time when COVID-19 restrictions start to ease.
That would be wonderful. Yeah, you can have some BDI ice cream when you come.
Yeah, exactly. I can see what the fuss is about.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time, Tiarnee. We really appreciate it, and of sharing this really unique and amazing project to wrap up our Reconciliation Month here.
No problem. And I hope it gives the listeners inspiration, about thinking about creating something like iBobbly for your community as well.
Absolutely. I look forward to hearing feedback about it. We'll be sure to share
definitely.
anything we hear.
Awesome. I love that.
Well, great. Thank you again. And I hope you have a really nice day.
Thanks. You too. Have a good evening over there.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. See ya. Bye.
Bye.